Hi again, everybody. I am Terry Vanderbeck with Sanford Sports. We are here to ride out the fourth and final day of the 2021 Summit League Basketball Championships at the Sanford Pentagon, joined once again by Mr. David Brown, Midco Sports Network. Although you guys are not calling the games today, that goes over to ESPNU for the women, ESPN2 for the men. You know, you can't leave now, right?
Exactly.
David?
I was going to ask you, can I set up like a 2 to 3 week residency here every year between late February and early March?
Yeah.
Between NSIC and Summit, I make a pretty good living in this building.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of really fun games over the last couple of weeks, and you did a great job with your sort of sign off yesterday. It's been an interesting season for all of us, ourselves here at Sanford and the Pentagon included. You want everything to go well. You want to be safe. You want people to have some sense of the things that they're passionate about. Yeah. At the same time, you worry about are you doing the right thing or what is the right thing. So I thought you hit on that well. So kudos to you and your whole staff. And for the people who don't know, all the Midco folks have been subjected to a lot of the protocol things too, just like student athletes, just like our staff has. So there will be some really interesting, I think, just as we all time to process what this year's been like. I think a few years down the line there will be probably some interesting memoirs written about all
memoirs,
the
documentaries, look backs. But yeah, it's and kudos to you guys here too, just for making sure that this runs safely and efficiently. I mean, fingers crossed, but we haven't had any positive tests over the weekend of the Summit League tournament, so that's a tremendous accomplishment.
Yeah, and again, to build off of that, now for the teams that win tonight, it's not party time. It's they start right back up in the pre-NCAA tournament testing protocol. But to get there, they got to win today. So let's talk about the games. Women's championship matchup. Just really interesting. The defending champs versus the 8 seed Omaha. South Dakota very much expected to be here. Expected they were going to play their rival South Dakota State. Top 25 team. Instead, here's Omaha, the first 8 seed to win one game. Now they've won 2. They won them both by double digits. And they haven't played USD in more than a calendar year.
Correct.
They have a new coach, new players. This is a really unusual matchup.
Very unusual, and we'll break down the women's thing in a second, but here's a weird stat I found out yesterday. This is the first time that both number 1 seeds on the men's and women's side did not make the championship. We've always had at least one, whether it's men or women. This time, neither of them make it, but specifically for this USD Omaha matchup. The last time they played was the Summit League quarterfinals last year, and USD won that game by 59 points, 99 to 40. This year's Omaha team looks a lot better. I don't think that either one of these teams will lose by 59 points here today. Obviously, the matchup, you would think, oh, it's a shoo-in for South Dakota. I mean, why wouldn't you pick South Dakota? But Omaha, man, their defense is locked in. They held Sdsu 30 points below their season average. They held Western Illinois 15 points below their season average. And Omaha's playing with house money at this point. There's no one expected them to be here. If you're an Omaha fan, you gotta be true to yourself. You did not expect them to be here.
Sure.
So lay it all out there. Anything can happen. I would not put it past the Mavericks to pull off the upset.
And it's been really hard for teams to get them out of their comfort zone, which is they've been able to dictate the pace. And when you do that, give yourself a chance. The other thing is is Coach Carrie Banks, first year, was the recruiting coordinator and assistant at Ohio State. So she's got some coaching chops. She's been around and is making an immediate impact with the program that's in a market really that should be good year in and year out, and they seem to be on their way in short order.
And keep in mind, most of this roster, a majority of this roster is the exact same as the roster last year. So this is mainly the same team that did lose by 59 to South Dakota in last year's tournament. But that just goes to show you how great of a job Carrie Banks is at coaching and getting the most out of her players.
Yeah, by comparison, the USD women are and we say this as a compliment, boring. They just keep winning. They keep winning.
This is their 4th straight championship appearance.
Yep, absolutely. Four in a row and 4 in 5 years under Coach Don Plitzowite. Interesting though, do they need a win today to make the tournament, or they've already put themselves in a position where does the Summer League become a three league?
This is a question we were kind of debating a little bit before we started recording. For Sdsu, just you look at the record, and they lost to Omaha, but you just look at their record and the teams that they beat earlier this season. I don't know how you can keep the Jacks out of it. The question is, it is a question now because of their loss. Sure. And then, like you said, if Omaha wins, is South Dakota good enough? And obviously Omaha getting the automatic bid. I can't see a 3-team mid-major conference getting 3 teams in there. So I do think it is a must-win for both sides, both USD and Omaha.
Yeah, interesting. Great question to contemplate this league.
But it's fun that we actually get to contemplate it.
Again, it was incomprehensible not long ago to get 2. Now they've had 2 a couple times, and now here you go. There's a scenario for 3. So switch over to the men, and I say this purely for entertainment purposes. We don't condone betting of
entertainment
any sort,
only.
but this morning, when I first checked the line for today, it was even up. It's fluctuated North Dakota State, I think, by 1, but bottom line is that's how even this thing is. That the sharps and the people with the smart money out there are going, this is a total toss-up, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts kind of from a high level on tonight?
Oh, it's going to be high-level basketball, that's for darn sure. I mean, Oral Roberts, they went on a tip-in by Kevin O'Banner over SDSU yesterday.
Yeah.
That was a great game, by the way, as well. Oral Roberts had the lead the whole second half. Both teams shot better than 55%. Every time SDSU got within 2 or 3 points, Oral Roberts, they would hit big shot after big shot after big shot. And Max Aspis, he's the nation's leading scorer. They haven't needed him to be a 30, 35, 40 point scorer. They've gotten contributions from everyone like O'Banner and Kareem Thompson, other guys, Lotsis, Jurgens. They're a deep, deep team. And then NDSU, Dave Richmond, they grind out these victories. And somehow, some way, and the three-peat bid is still alive for NDSU. They split the season series in Fargo, so anything goes in this rubber match, and I think I agree with the prognosticators. It's even or -1, -1.5. It's going to be a lot of fun.
A couple of fun notes, and this is crazy for those of us who were around the conference when the Dakota schools joined it. Oral Roberts has not been to the championship game since
2008?
Which is crazy because they were really, them in Oakland kind of ran the league, and you look at the players, even a guy I've had the fortune of getting to know over the years, Moses Ahambe, played in the NBA, and it's just a run of guys. They had 2 guys on their team at the same time that were both 2,000-point scorers. Like they were balling, and it's been a while.
Yeah, they were that dynasty like a decade ago back when the Summit League tournament was in Oklahoma.
And through the whole time, I keep saying they're the team that you'd see in the airport and most likely to identify as like a really good basketball team. They just look the part, right? They're big and strong and physical, and they got a bunch of dudes, and they're from all over the world. They got guys from everywhere. A really fun team to watch, very skilled, physical, but can fill it up as well. And then on the other side, North Dakota State, man,
they get it done.
They get it done, and again, similarities to their football team, right? They're smash mouth, they're straight ahead, they're tough, they don't expect to blow anybody out, they don't play that style, and so they know when it's crunch time, you got to make the plays, you got to execute, and at this point, these guys have such a championship pedigree that it's really hard to pick against them when they're in the game late in the proceedings.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game between Oral Roberts and North Dakota State. I don't think there's any question about that. I'd be very surprised if either of these teams won by more than single digits. So interesting to see. NDSU, though, they just grind, and they have these lulls and stretches where they don't score, but they still somehow find a way. So, I'm not making any picks, but if it's late, NDSU, I think, kind of has an edge because they've been here before.
Yeah. Also, it's been really weird. I've been the moderator for the post-game proceedings.
Going back to your old Argus days.
Going back to the old Argus days. And it's funny, though, typically, that's a really emotional time. Every single game, every coach and players, their heart's been ripped out, their season's over, maybe their career's over. But the uncertainty this year of having to think, wait a minute, well, Stanley Amude is a senior, but technically he's allowed to come back. And, so it's funny to think that in theory, you could return everybody from this field, plus an incoming recruiting class. It's fun to think about if the level of player on the country is here. There's no reason it shouldn't be up here next year. And what does that mean for everyone? So I'm kind of excited to see how that shakes out. And then spinning things ahead, David is certainly keeping a close eye on and is going to be up for the Division II men's regional, Central Regional, up in Aberdeen with Northern State in the mix. And we're switching gears right away tomorrow to host the Class AA High School Girls State Tournament in South Dakota for the first time. So we're may be going our separate directions here, David Brown, but the March Madness continues, and we're all excited to be a part of it.
Thank you for having me on all these. It's been doing a lot of fun. NSIC, Summit League. It's just fun being out here. It's fun having these basketball games that we can put these basketball games on during such uncertain times.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for watching. Keep up with David and everything going on with Midco, and we'll look forward to seeing you all again soon.